It's time now to talk about various factors which may affect the learning of second language pronunciation. One of the most important factors in this regard is learners' own native language. We always see that in a foreign accent of a target language, there are always elements of learners' own native language, and their pronunciation is always affected by the sound patterns they have grasped throughout the years while speaking and learning their own language. Therefore, the link between a target language sounds and those of a learner's own native language may be critical in the learning of pronunciation. If there would be differences, they may seriously hamper learners' pronunciation. The more differences are, there are more chances that learners would face difficulties in learning second language pronunciation. Age factor is another important factor. Some researchers believe or used to believe that starting learning a second language before a particular age, let's say for example 7 years old, would be very important in order to grasp native-like pronunciation in a second language, and we usually call this critical period hypothesis. However, some recent studies tell us that age and the learning of pronunciation may not have that direct a link. There could possibly be other factors, for example, exposure to the language or motivation, which may affect a learner's second language pronunciation. And therefore, some other aspects could also be kept in mind. What needs to be emphasized is good pronunciation and not a perfect accent. Therefore, starting learning a second language even at a later age may yield better results if the proper effort and exposure is put in. Motivation and exposure, as I said earlier, could be other crucial factors, and we have seen that through various studies that if learners of a second language are very keen about the language, they are enthusiastic about the language and the community that language speaks, they would be in a better position to learn that language if they are motivated to learn that language and they have good feelings about the speakers of that language. Similarly, if they have some personal or professional goals or future needs associated with that language, they would again be in a better position to learn that language, and their motivation for learning that language would be enhanced. Even adults can become proficient speakers and learners of the language if they are motivated properly and their motivation is quite clear to them. Therefore, teachers may encourage their students to learn and speak a second language outside the classroom. Another important factor within this sphere is the constant exposure to English language or any second language. If a learner is in an environment where he is being constantly exposed to the use of English language, he would be in a better position to learn English language quickly. Another factor is phonetic ability. We know that some people have a better ear for foreign languages as compared to the others. In this regard, they have a better aptitude for oral mimicry, they have a better phonetic coding ability and auditory discrimination ability. That means, in simple words, that some people are more able to distinguish between various sounds of a language, as well as they are more able to mimic the sounds when they try to practice it. Therefore, such people would be in a better position to pronounce the target language or the words of target language accurately. Another element which may affect the learning of second language pronunciation is the identity and attitude of learners. We all know identity and attitudes are critical in any kind of learning, so they are in the learning of pronunciation. A person's sense of identity and a feeling of group affiliation are strong determiners of the success in learning pronunciation. Intelligibility and the varieties of English are quite interlinked in today's world where English is spoken as an international language. And teachers must realize that English has become an international language. And they should keep in mind that their adult students will speak with both native and non-native speakers. So therefore, within a pronunciation classroom, they should expose their students to both native and non-native varieties of English and should make them to distinguish between them and should grasp them properly so that they can communicate in English language properly in all contexts.